If you guys remember, last week we talked about why are my hands always in the way?
With what was going on, and at the end of the day, um, you got to be happy.
So if you guys remember, last week we talked about when I fancied myself a car flipper, and I mean, me and my buddy Greg, we might have made a couple dollars. We learned a couple things. I think most importantly, we learned that business wasn't for us, and it left us with having to get rid of a few things, having to clean some stuff up, and wanting to start with a clean slate. That's what we're going to talk about on this week's Monday Morning Memory from Pugliese Speed Shop. For this, we're going to go over the book. Yeah, we still got a couple things we're working on down here. You guys probably noticed it's real similar, but I don't know. We got this guy now. You guys remember this guy? Hey, Mick. Oh, the kid put a picture up when we first got him. And you guys helped name him. I mean, we didn't take any of your suggestions. Wrong book. But, how can you not want to open that one, right? Yeah, we didn't take any of you guys' suggestions, but they were made, and we appreciate that. Andrew just went into his own thing when he named him. So, looking at my book here, there's my 5-liter. All right. Polar bear in a snowstorm with his eyes closed. Where are we at, guys? We ended up getting rid of this stuff. And I was driving this guy. No. Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I think I was. That was my driver. And, yeah, there it is. Clean slate time. There's the Dodge. There's Megan's, at the time, new whip. There you go. Now you can see it better. She traded in the Camry. Hey, we're stopping there. For this guy. But we didn't only trade in the Camry, guys. We broke our own hearts on this one. We gotta sit down and talk about it. So, when you're driving a whole bunch of less than perfect vehicles, you kind of lose track of timelines, and they all kind of like blend together because you're driving this one and it was kind of falling apart. So then you got this one, but you had them both at the same time. It happened with some motorcycles. It happened with some cars. So I might backtrack a little bit during these stories, and I apologize, but there's really no other way for me to tell them. So, like I said, we got rid of the flipping cars. That Honda, the Audi, all the other ones, of course, all that stuff. And we both, it's kind of funny, we kind of matured at the same time. We're both married, had kids, bought houses. Like, we should probably have reliable vehicles. And at least for the wives. So Greg went out, bought his wife a Suzuki Rodeo. And we continue to drive the beaters, right? Especially since we're putting a ton of miles. It was 90 miles one way to work. So, gas mileage was a thing. It always is. I mean, no matter what. And, well, not anymore. I stopped caring. But, we were low-ranking guys, or not low-ranking, but we weren't making a ton of money, guys, all right? And, yeah, that's how that goes. Young families, right? So, I thought we were being kind of responsible. I still had the 5-liter. I finished building the orange truck. I had the Ninja. I got rid of the Katana. Yeah, that's kind of where we were. Might have still had the Neon. We eventually offed that on eBay for like $1,000 or something. So, solid investment. But yeah, so we Jimbo had a car that they had bought brand new in 1989. However, it was a Camry, 1989 Camry, nice. It was the light blue. You can see in the background of this picture here, and I don't have like a solid picture. Probably somewhere I do, but for right now, we'll put up the one we found online where the car is clean. Jimbo worked on a dirt road, and he drove this to work. And Megan's mom had a new Camry. You know, every couple years they get a new one. So the struts were gone. It was dirty. Had an automatic seatbelt thing that kind of quit working. Had a moonroof in it. It was a decent car. It really was. Interior's, you know, pretty nice. It's pretty clean. So he was retiring. Decided he didn't need two vehicles. So gave us a smoking deal on that one. I threw some struts in it. Did a little paint correction. Detailed it up. We put the fake 5-star hubcaps from the Neon on that car because we swapped the tires over because the tires were new on the Neon when it blew up. And yeah, Megan drove the hell out of it. I think got 40 something miles a gallon. She loved it. It was a Camry. It's probably still on the road, right? And we knew exactly how Jimbo takes care of his stuff. So up until the last maybe year or so that he had it when he was working on a dirt road. But so she was running around that for a while. Everything was fine. It never let us down. One time, actually got stuck. The battery connector corroded. And some guy at the gas station told her to pour some Coke on it. And she did, and it fired up. So then she got home, and I did it all correctly. And like I said, the car never let us down. But we're like, you know, Andrew was baby. We should have something newer. Because everybody thinks newer is reliable. And I think we proved that's a lie. But we were young and impressionable. So they had a big tent sale. Tell you my old man was in the car business, right? Tent sales are great for the dealers. He sell a ton of cars because, man, you get the big tent, you're giving away popcorn and cotton, whatever you're doing. Everybody loves it. It's exciting. Yeah, you know, you're getting a deal. You're getting a deal. But so seriously, we lived about 5 miles from the High Desert Mavericks baseball stadium. Not even 5 miles. And that's where the tent sale was. So we go down there, and she wanted an SUV. It's all the rage, right? And I get it. You know, she should have a nice car. So she looks at first we looked at a Ford Expedition. I think this was in 2001. I want to say it was a 98 Expedition. She drove it around. She liked it. It was a little big. She's like, I don't know if I need anything this big, but she liked the third row seating, you know, because it's just if you want to go with your friends, whatever. So, well, we go and we sit down, and we decided that was not the payment we wanted. So the salesman was like, we got another SUV. It's really, really clean, and I think you'll dig it. So it was a 1999 Oldsmobile Bravada. Guys, this thing was spotless. It was really, really nice. It was like, for you who don't know, the Bravada was the Escalade before the Escalade. You know, like it had, the seats felt like you sit on a couch, all leather. It basically looked like a Blazer or a Jimmy of that time frame, but so it was smaller, but man, it rode really nice. She loved it, and she would kept that Camry spotless, guys. Every week I come home, she's vacuuming. She did the same. Every week I would come home on Friday, and she had that Bravada outside, washing it and just taking awesome care of it. She loved it. So when she drives it, she loves it even more. So we're like, okay, we're gonna trade in the Camry. Okay, and I had a small payment on the Mustang still. So let's see what we can afford, right? New family, so the kid's like a year older this time. And the numbers didn't work for me. I don't remember exactly what they were, but I was not comfortable having the payment on the Mustang. I think I only had 6 months or a year left on it. It wasn't much. But you ain't got it. So I decided, I got a motorcycle. I got this little lifted truck I put together. I don't need the Mustang. I loved it. I didn't want to get rid of it. But we sacrificed, right? So we're talking numbers. We're going through it. I said, okay, I'm not there with it. I was like, hey, what if we trade this one in two? And that's when the numbers fell where I wanted him, and I felt good about it. And I said, okay. So we traded it in. That's the thing I told you when I talked about the Mustang. The guy came back to the house. I pulled the system out of it. He drove off, grinded second gears. He drove off, and I drank Tennessee with my neighbor. So after all that went down, like I said, Megan took awesome care of the car. She absolutely loved it. We made a bunch of road trips in it, and we had a warranty on it. I was only 2 years old. It had high mileage for being only 2 years old. I want to say it had like 40,000. And she was driving 45 miles one way to work, and then we used it everywhere we went. So that was, yeah. This thing had 100,000 miles on it within 2 to 3 years. Yeah, I think, about 2 years. Yeah. So I didn't know Oldsmobile was going to go out of business. Did not help the resale value. I didn't realize it had a smart track transmission, like, the automatic all-wheel drive thing. That is the worst transmission Oldsmobile ever made. That didn't help it. It was also known, it had the 4.3 in it. It was a peppy little car. Truck, SUV, whatever. But with the was it the fuel pressure regulator? Apparently they were known for this. I didn't know this. And the internet wasn't at our fingertips really back then, so you didn't look at all this stuff. You knew 4.3 was a good motor. You never know what happens when they upgrade stuff. So right before we're moving cross country, we're leaving Channel Lake. I got orders to Oceana, and by this time we had a little collection going, and we're trying to figure that all out. So we sold some things, we shipped something, we bought a trailer, and we had a lot of things going on. Right before we left, we had nothing to drive. The only thing I had that ran was a car I'm not going to tell you about yet. But you've seen it. Actually, I'll tell you, because I've talked about it many times. We had a 53 Cadillac. And that was the only thing we had left running. And then the friggin' ignition went out in that thing in front of my buddy's place. And I had to get underneath it and jump to start it to get it to go. And then we had to wrap things back around, man. We finally got it going. Everything back to where it needed to be. But I had a guy take care of the front end of the truck. I had fixed the caddy, and then the dealer they'd already done the trans once under warranty, and they did the fuel pressure regulator once under warranty, and it went again, and warranty was up. They wanted, I don't know, something crazy, $2 to $3 grand to do this, because basically the top of the motor had to come off for a $21 part. I bought the $21 part. I was at my buddy's shop. Brandon, Chip, and Joe lived in what we called Manland, and it was a warehouse that they had offices upstairs. They lived in it, and all their hot rods and stuff were downstairs. And all my stuff was packed up, guys. I'm living in transient housing at this point in the game because we sold the house. So we got it taken care of. I sit over there at the shop, and we head cross country. Everything's going fine. It was our first cross-country trip to move. We had driven once in my brother's Sebring, which was an adventure in itself years before this. But we're on 40, and we're digging it, guys. Staying at cool places, and the Wigwam Hotel, and the big Texan, and all that kind of stuff. And then somewhere in Tennessee, the fuel pressure regulator goes again. So it's just guzzling gas. And first start in the morning, it'd start fine, but then every time we stop for gas, it'd crank forever to burn that fuel out before it would start. So we got across country, and I swapped it again. We're looking for a house. We're staying with my buddy Chip, which I can never thank him enough for all that. But we're looking for a house. I'm going on detachments. We've got a deployment coming up, and I got this car that ain't working. So luckily, we end up deciding we bought some property. We were building the house, and Megan stayed at Chip's place and took care of his place and his dogs and stuff while we were gone. So that worked out. But Still had this car issue. I ended up taking it up. My dad was at a Ford dealer at the time. And we took that thing up there and traded it in for an 03 Explorer. And, well, there's a story to that one too, and I'm not going to tell it right now, but my brother knows exactly what I'm talking about. I felt good. I went, we actually, I was able to go on deployment and do all this stuff, and Megan had a brand new car, full warranty. I didn't have anything to worry about, and except for the fact it was a Ford. But so the Bravado was nice. I got beat up on this thing. Between the trans being a piece of trash and also Bill going out of business, all that kind of stuff. Resale value in the toilet. This thing was 4 years old and it had 120,000 miles on it, so I get it. And it was still spotless, guys. She kept this thing amazing. And it ran and drove great. I didn't trust that fuel pressure regulator for a second, nor did I trust the trans. $3,500, guys. $3,500 for something we paid 20 something for about 2.5 years before that. So, yeah, we took a beating. We had to buy brand new. It was the only way you could hide the negative equity. And these things happen. It's one of the reasons I don't really like new cars. Now, I understand the 99 is not a new car, but it was then. And man, there's so much money to be lost and electronic stuff, and it keeps getting worse. You guys know how I feel. I'm not gonna bore you with all that, but I don't know if I could have done any research. I didn't have a crystal ball to tell you all this stuff that was gonna be wrong with this thing, and that Oldsmobile was gonna go away. But yeah, it served its purpose. Got us cross country. Never left us stranded. So if that's how you're that's how we bounce back, guys. I also got myself a newer truck, but we'll talk about that. Yeah, probably next week. Until then, hopefully you guys enjoyed my my memory here, and I don't know if you can learn from my mistakes, but do your research. Thanks for watching, guys. What are you doing? He's funny.